guys, welcome to another reading vlog. So currently I'm reading It's a Love Story by Annabelle Monaghan. I actually just started this. I'm only like 20 pages into it, but I recently read Nora Goes Off Script, which if you watch one of my most recent reading vlogs, I read that whole book in a day. It was only like 250 pages, so it was not that long. I think I rated it like 3.75 stars. It was pretty good. It wasn't anything like super memorable though. I really enjoyed Summer Romance by her though. That was a really good book. I read that last summer. Yeah, this is her most recent release. I think it came out like a few months ago, but I went to the bookstore today and I finally picked it up. It was like one of the very first books I saw. With that being said, I did, like I said, just read Nora Goes Off Script, which is the main character was a filmmaker in that story, and in this one the main character is an actress. So I'm just hoping that there's not going to be like overlap, or it's gonna be different than that story, because I can tell Annabelle Monaghan has like a flow with how she writes all of her books. I've only read 2 of hers, but they were very similar, and starting off the bat with this one, I can tell it's gonna be kind of the same kind of story, I guess. Like pretty much always like a 30 to 40-year-old woman as the main character, and she meets a guy. Like that's kind of how her stories go. So I'm just hoping that this one will kind of throw some different things in there. I don't want to go in like with a negative mindset, but with the other books so fresh in my mind, I'm just hoping that it will be a little bit different. But the main character is an actress, and it sounds like from what I've read so far, she's gonna have to be working with one of her least favorite coworkers, cinematographer. So they're gonna be working very closely together. They do not like each other from what I can tell so far. She's been an actress for a long time, but growing up she was always kind of known as like the funny actress, and she wants to be taken seriously for once. That is what we have going on. It's only 320 pages, not too long. None of her books are really like super long, which is nice because they're just quick, easy, fun reads typically. I'm gonna continue this book and I will kind of let you guys know my thoughts as I go through. This is all spoiler free, by the way, so I'm not gonna give too much away, but it is a romance, so like you know, we kind of all know what's gonna happen. It is a few days later. I wanted to do a reading update. I think the last time I talked to you, oh my gosh, there's a dog. What the heck? But I think the last time I talked, I just started It's a Love Story, and I did continue that one. I think I got to page like 50. I'm only 50 pages into that one though, so I'm not that far in. So I actually started a new book. I started my book club book. That one is called To Dwell Among Cedars by Colin Cossette, and this is a Christian fiction. So far I am 40 pages in. I'm 12% in, and I'm actually really enjoying this. It's a historical fiction, so this story is taking place in the Old Testament, when I think it's taking place in like Samuel, like that part of the Bible, because there was a verse from Samuel in the beginning. The girl that is the main character, I don't remember her name, but she is living in the Philistines. She's with her brother. Her mom passed away giving birth to her brother, and then her dad is kind of in the picture, kind of not really in the picture. They're living with their aunt, and their uncle is like the king of the Philistine country. They had just conquered Israel and came back with the Ark of the Covenant, which is like literally like where the presence of God dwells. Once they brought it back into their country, they had started to go through like a lot of plagues, and people were getting like boils on their skin and dying and stuff. So her aunt passed away, her uncle passed away, a bunch of her cousins. There's the 2 kids, and then there's also their slave, like the family slave. She's a Hebrew woman, so she believes in God, and she knew that like when the Ark of the Covenant came back with them, it was like gonna be bad. She was basically like, God have mercy on us, because this is about to be really bad. And then obviously all the plagues happened and stuff, so she knew. And so the kids kind of saw that, and nothing happened to them though, because she was praying over them during this time, and like anointed them with oil and stuff. So it's been really cool to see that. But I'm only like 40 pages in and all of this has happened so far. If you are not interested in any of this stuff, just like skip over it, because I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. It's actually really cool though, because I have just started reading Exodus in the Bible, which talks about Moses and him leading the Hebrews like out of Egypt. It mentioned that in this story so far. I just thought that was really cool because it's like all connecting. Like I'm still learning so much. I've read all the New Testament, but I've read very little of the Old Testament, like obviously like Psalm and Proverbs and stuff and Genesis, but I'm just like starting to read it like chronologically, and I'm in Exodus. And so it's just really cool to see connections, but I'm also learning a lot as well because I haven't read Samuel or read like any part of this in the Bible. I love like being able to make connections like that. I'm gonna continue reading this. I have a week to read this. My book club meeting is next Monday, and today is Sunday and the week prior. So I have quite a bit of time, especially if I like continue to read at this pace and I continue to enjoy it. It's definitely gonna fly by, and I'm really excited for that. And I guess this is part of a series too. It says book 1. I don't know how many books there are, but we're obviously only reading the first one, unless we all really like it and then decide to read the second one. I'm gonna actually watch church online, and then I am meeting with my mom today, but then I'm gonna go sit at the beach and tan. So I'm gonna be reading a lot this afternoon, which I'm really excited for. Okay, let's do a book update. So I'm still reading To Dwell Among Cedars, still loving it. I am 21% through now. I'm on chapter 9. I think the last time I updated you guys, I talked about how the main character's aunt and uncle had died, and cousins and everything, so they're kind of left alone because their father isn't really in the picture anymore. Azuva is the slave's name, and she's the one that's the believer, and she gave the 2 kids a escape route, and she basically came to them and was like, you guys need to leave before things get really bad. So she ends up helping the 2 kids flee the Philistine area or country. The slave Azura tells them to follow the Ark of the Covenant or find the gold chest basically, or box, and so they end up having to trek through like the wilderness and stuff, and then they eventually find the Ark of the Covenant. That's kind of where we are right now. They found the Hebrews, so we're gonna see what they end up doing, if they end up staying there or if they end up going back. I love learning more about this just because I love learning about the Bible and what happened back then. Obviously this isn't like exactly what happened, it's kind of like a expanded story just to explain things better. I'm looking forward to discussing this with everyone. I need to come up with some questions though for my book club because I've not done that yet. I will continue to update you guys as I continue the book. That's all I got for now. Okay guys, time for a book update. I'm almost 50% through this book actually, and I'm still loving it. Like, I don't know what it is about this book. I feel like normally with the historical feel of it, just how heavy it is, like information wise, I guess, with it taking place in like biblical times, I would not be interested, but I am. I think that's because I'm learning so much about the Bible that I didn't know, and like what takes place and what happened back then. I'm very interested in like what happened in the Old Testament because I haven't quite got to this part yet. And it's also being told in a storytelling way, so it's like a lot easier for me to understand too. But anyways, I'm on chapter 17. Skipped ahead like 8 years, I think. The kids have grown up a lot and they were taken in by the Levites, which is like where they escaped to. They are now like living with them. Something pretty big has been like revealed to us. I don't know if it's throughout the whole book, but it's definitely like adding to the plot for sure. Let's go ahead and continue reading. I went to the beach today and I read quite a lot, so I'm very happy. That's where I got a lot of my reading done today, and it was really nice because it was like 70 degrees, so it wasn't too hot, but it wasn't like, it was still warm enough to where I could sit out there and be comfortable, and it was just really relaxing. Okay guys, time for a book update. I feel like I haven't done one in a minute. So first of all, I finally got the physical copy of the book. Don't love this cover. It looks super old, but I get it because it's like literally taking place in the Old Testament, so it's like a long time ago, obviously. And I have tabs, just so happen to have tabs that are literally the exact same color for this, so I thought that was kind of funny. So I'm gonna go in and tab once I'm finished the whole book because I highlighted so much stuff. But for my book club tomorrow, I want to make sure I have everything tabbed already so I can just flip through it and I don't have to flip through my Kindle. That was a really long explanation that probably nobody cares about, but I am 83% through. I'm on chapter 35 and I've been listening to the audiobook as well, which has helped me a lot because I just haven't had a lot of time to just sit down and read. So it's been really nice to listen to the audiobook. I listened to it at the gym yesterday and then also today as well, and it's helped me to get through a good amount. Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and finish it. It's Sunday night. It's only like 6:30, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish this and then go through and do all my tabs and make sure I have like all the questions answered for tomorrow so I'm prepared. Being the host, I feel like I need to be the most prepared because I like lead the discussion. I like to be prepared, otherwise I feel bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this. I'm loving it. Like I don't know what else to say. There's so many good quotes, which I'll share some quotes with you guys once I'm finished, but this book is hitting so close to home right now with what is going on with one of the characters. It's just hitting really hard in my life, my personal life, which is honestly one of the best things that I found about reading Christian books. Is it's just so realistic. God's word is always alive and active and can be applied at any point in your life, really. We all go through struggles, we all go through things that is talked about in God's word. I know that when I read a Christian book, I'm going to get something out of it and it's gonna be fulfilling and it's gonna help me. Like reading this book at this time, I feel like was literally the Lord directing me to this book. Obviously it was like my book club and it was luck of the draw, but then it's like, okay, was it luck or no, it was God leading me to this book. That's how I'm feeling. Anyways. I finally finished To Dwell Among Cedars by Colin Cossette. I think last time I talked I was tabbing all of these. I didn't even finish all the tabs because it was taking me so long, but I still need to go back and do this. I mean, I think you guys can tell. I loved it. I feel like I completely and totally resonated with this book in so many ways. I finally finished this one. I'm gonna save all my readings until the end because I like to think about the book for a little bit and really sit on it and think about what I want to read it. So yeah, I need to just finish up these tabs, but finally finished that one. I have been reading this book for the longest time, you guys, and I need to finish it finally, and that is The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. This is the author of the Magnolia Park series. I feel like I say this in every single video. Magnolia Parks is one of my all-time favorite series. Into the Dark is my all-time favorite book. I love her writing. The Magnolia Park series is the only like books that I've read by her. She does have a few other ones, but I haven't quite got to them yet. So this is the first book that I'm reading that is not part of that Magnolia Park series. I honestly didn't know what to expect. I really didn't listen to any reviews or anything. This is just so interesting. Like I've never read anything like this before. So we have the main character. Her name is Georgia and she's not really close with her family, but she's really close with her brother. They have both moved away and her dad just passed away, which is, I'm pretty sure that's given away in this, so it's not a spoiler. But so it pretty much calls them all back to their hometown for a family reunion and to go to his funeral and, you know, just be with family. Georgia's like she's like an analyst for lie detecting based off of someone's mannerisms or their actions when they speak, so she can tell if someone is lying or not. It's so interesting because this just like fascinates me so much to be able to know someone's actions and just what they're doing so well. If they like touch their ear or something, then they're lying, most likely. And I don't know, there's like a bunch of different things that she talks about so far in the book, but it's really interesting. She analyzes her family and her siblings all the time and they hate it. There's also a love interest that has been introduced and is kind of starting to progress. I have no idea where this story is going to go, to be honest. I'm 50% through. I've literally been reading this for over a month now, like probably like a month and a half, 2 months. It's kind of boring, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like I have not been able to get into it really. I'm just reading it because I love Jessa Hastings, so I would imagine it's going to end up being really good. It's just very slow. Like, there are parts to it that I like, but I don't want to like pick it up, I guess, if that makes sense. But when I read it, it's like, oh, this is interesting. But when I think about it, I'm just not really wanting to grab it, if that makes sense. But I really want to finish it. Oh, this is my next read. It's actually on Kindle Unlimited, which I was really surprised because none of the Magnolia Parks books are on Kindle Unlimited. I'm taking advantage of that. I do have the physical copy, but I would prefer to read on my Kindle. This is book number 2. Let's go ahead and continue reading. Guys, this book just hooked me so hard. I'm obsessed. I freaking love her writing so much. Now that the romance is a little bit more prominent, she literally just made the smallest, most simple statement, and I was like, yeah, that's the one. I'm just gonna read this part. It says, he gives me a long look, then kisses me again. It's not rushy or urgent. It's not a bookend kiss. He's not signing off. He doesn't say goodbye. He just kisses me, hands in my hair, soft and melty, and then he slips out of my room. His kisses are commas. I just love it. I just love how she words that. Like, anyways, I'm hooked. I'm on chapter 45 now, so I've been reading physically and also listening to the audiobook a little bit. Yeah, chapter 45, I've read about 100 pages. I'm really curious to see where this goes. We're trying to figure out who somebody is, so they're like on a road trip right now, trying to figure that out. Yeah, I really don't have that much left. I have like probably 100 pages left to go. Also realized this yesterday when I was reading that one of the characters in here is related to Magnolia Parks, which I thought was really cool because Georgia, the main character, she's living in London right now, which is where the Magnolia Park series takes place, and she's like back home in South Carolina, I think. She mentions Daisy. I thought that that was really interesting. I just love that like crossover because I was not expecting it, so I was like, oh my gosh, like that's so cool when I read it, because I didn't know that was gonna happen. I could potentially finish this tonight. I'm 70% through, so I'm gonna continue to read on my Kindle. It is the next day. I'm 78% through this book. I read a lot last night before I went to bed, but I've also been listening to the audiobook this morning, and something crazy just happened that I don't know how I didn't expect it, but I'm shook. And I am definitely going to finish this book today. I have a few appointments, so I'm hoping like while I'm waiting, or while I'm actually getting my hair done today. While I'm getting my hair done, I'll probably read quite a bit as well, but I'm gonna listen to it. I have an hour drive, so we'll see how much I can get through, but yeah, I was not expecting that. I don't know how, but I'm super eager to see what happens from here. That's all for now. Okay guys, book update. I finally finished The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. I am so happy because I've been reading this book for like 2 months. I was literally at 50% last night, but I audiobooked a ton of it. I had a long drive today, so that helped a lot, but I also did read a lot last night before I went to bed too. And I actually really enjoyed this, the last half of it. I feel like it was definitely slower throughout the beginning and to like the first half, but once I was picking up on it and reading it a lot more consistently, I was enjoying it a lot more. I loved the character studies in this. Like I told you guys, the main character Georgia is like basically a human lie detector, so she can tell based on mannerisms, based on, you know, like what you do with your hair or the way you look or like what you touch. She can tell if you're lying or not. Her family always gets really annoyed for it, but it ended up turning out to be a really good way to figure out a certain thing that they were trying to figure out, and it just came in handy in that way. The second half of the book, the plot definitely picked up. Like I think I told you guys, we found something out that was really groundbreaking, I guess, just really added to the plot. And so they went on this little side quest to try to figure out why and who this person was, and also having the romance tie into it as well. Honestly, I don't know why, but it reminded me of A Great Big Beautiful Life, how we had the romance part of it, but we also had like the actual plot and like what they were trying to figure out as well. So the two different aspects of the story, I don't know, it just all tied together really nicely though, which was really, really good. And I loved Great Big Beautiful Life, and I think that's why I ended up really liking this one as well. Both two are my favorite authors, so you know, love that. I'm really glad I ended up liking the last half of it. I loved the romance too. It was pretty insta-lovey, but I don't know, it just made sense. Like I feel like Jessa Hastings just made it make sense really well, and it wasn't an issue. Like I really felt it. But I also, that could potentially be because I knew the characters for so long, because I was reading it for so long, that it didn't feel super insta-lovey to me. I wonder if I would have read this a little bit quicker, if that would have made a difference. But either way, I enjoyed it. And I also just recently bought Jessa Hastings' new book today, Time of Your Life. I have no idea what this is about, but I saw it at the bookstore today and I had to buy it because she's just an auto-buy author for me. So I won't be starting that in this video, but definitely going to be soon. And like I said earlier, all of my ratings will be at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that so you guys can hear my full rating. I just want to sit on it for a little bit because I'm not quite sure what I want to rate it yet. So that is my update. Okay guys, book update. So I'm pretty sure I said in one of the last clips that I was going to continue It's a Love Story by Annabelle Monaghan, but it's August 2nd right now, and I want to get started on my August TBR, and that book is not on it at all. That was just something that I bought recently that I wanted to start. So I have decided to start my August TBR. So this is the first book that I'm reading for my TBR. This is called In 5 Years by Rebecca Searle. I have literally had this book for so long, and I'm really glad I'm finally getting to it. And I've always thought the premise is really interesting. So this tells a story about a girl, her name is Danny, and she recently got engaged to this man that she has been with for a few years. She has this whole timeline planned out with this man. She has a dream that takes place 5 years in the future, and she is engaged to a different man. And then she wakes up and everything felt super real. She felt like she was actually living out that dream. And she is super confused and doesn't know who this man is, why she's engaged to a different man than she is currently engaged to. It takes you along this whole path of trying to figure out if this is actually going to be her future, if it was actually just a dream, why it felt so real. Reading it on my Kindle. It's on Kindle Unlimited, so of course I'm reading it on my Kindle instead. And it's really short. It's less than 300 pages, which was the prompt for my TBR jar, which is why I chose it. It's very quick and easy to get into. And I'm on page 87 right now, which is chapter 12. I'm definitely enjoying it. I think it's really interesting, and I'm excited to see like what happens, how she gets to this point, and what takes place in those 5 years. I will say the writing is very simple, which is kind of to be expected in a shorter book because there's just not that much time to go in detail about everything. But I'm enjoying it. This is my first book ever by this author. It's going pretty well for the most part. I'm hoping to finish it today, honestly, because I want to get this video up for you guys. We shall see. I'm gonna go work out, probably listen to the audiobook while I'm there. So I've been listening to this quite a bit. I'm about 60% through, so I'm a little bit over halfway on chapter 21. I found out something that has really changed the plot and affected the storyline, I guess. I don't want to give it away though, because it's kind of like a spoiler. This book, like I said, is very simple, and it's really giving the idea of a mystery book. I guess we are trying to figure out like how the main character is getting to this place in 5 years and like the lead up of that. So it is kind of a mystery, but just the way it's told and also the way the audiobook is narrated, just really giving mystery. And the chapters are also really short. I don't know the other genres of her books, but that's just my opinion, that it's feeling like a mystery. But it's also like making it really fast paced and really easy to read or listen to. It's definitely like got me hooked. Like I'm eager to see what happens from here, because from what I know is supposedly gonna happen and where we are now, like I'm just interested to see how it's gonna get there in such a short amount of time. The last time I updated this vlog, but I'm still reading In 5 Years. I'm almost 70% through this. I'm on chapter like 28, I think. I feel like it's focusing a lot more on a situation that's going on rather than the romance, which I don't know. I just expected it to be focused a lot more on the romance going on. I don't know, because it's like I see why the author's doing it this way. It's just not what I expected, I guess. I'm not saying I don't like it, it's just different than what I expected. I'm gonna finish this tonight, and I will let you guys know my final thoughts on this one and then both of the other books that I read in this video. Let's go ahead and do a recap of all the books that I read in this video. Okay, so the first book that I read was To Dwell Among Cedars by Connellan Cossette. This was, again, my Christian book club book for the month of July. This tells the story of the book of Samuel, kind of what takes place in sealing the Ark of the Covenant and all of that stuff. I've already explained everything, obviously, if you just watched this whole video. I just loved this book so much. If you couldn't tell, I reiterated that like 500 times in this video. I love how much I learned about the Old Testament because I haven't gotten to that part in the Bible yet. It just made everything a lot easier for me to understand in a complete storytelling way and just expanded a lot more than what the Bible actually covers, I guess. Although a lot of it is fiction and kind of made up for the plot and to make it into a book, it gave a good depiction of probably what went on during this time for the people who were living in this time and just what they experienced. I just really enjoyed her writing, and I think it was just really well put together. I don't know what else to say besides I love this. I really want to read the second book because the second book is about the main character's brother, Nathan. I mean, he's in the story quite a bit, but I want to see more of his story. That part of the story was something that really hit home for me, and I am really interested to see what takes place in that story. So I'm probably going to purchase and read that on my own, like not part of the book club or anything, but I just want to know what is going to happen and how the author depicts that story and how that is handled. This ended up being a 4.5 out of 5 star. I loved it. As you guys know, not quite a 5 star, didn't give me 5-star feelings, but overall it was so good. Okay, next up we have The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. I do think it started off a little bit slower. That could be my own fault just because it took me a long time to read, that it felt a little bit slower. But once I did pick it up continuously and like within a short amount of time, I definitely was able to grasp the story and really get into it and engaged and wanted to know what was going to happen. And I also think that listening to the audiobook helped a lot too, helped it go by a lot quicker. I just love Jessa Hastings. I love her writing. I love her writing style and the way that she just uses the most simple sentences to really hit home and to make you think so much. But this was a 4 out of 5 stars. I like this one a little bit more, but overall, I love them both. The last book that we have is In 5 Years by Rebecca Surley. I never know how to say that. We're just gonna say Searle. This book disappointed me, I'm not gonna lie. It was a very fast-paced, quick, easy read, but it was just not what I was expecting. I was expecting a romance book, and this gave mystery vibes slash, I don't even know. It focused a lot more on the main character and her best friend Bella, and there's a lot of darker topics in this, so I would definitely look up trigger warnings before you go into this, but it was just not at all what I was expecting. Like, I fully thought this was a romance book based on what the back says, and it did not even really focus on the romance at all. And honestly, the main character frustrated me, especially towards the ending and just finding out like how we got to where we were. I don't know. There's just a lot of things that I did not really like about this book. So I'm giving this like 2.5 out of 5 stars. I also would have liked to see a lot more self-reflection from the main character, what she experienced throughout the last half of the book with everything that went on with her and her fiance. I would have liked a lot more self-reflection in that way, and the book was really short, so I guess I should have expected to not really have much expansion. I just wanted more, and I feel like the book did not deliver. It didn't feel complete. It did not feel full circle in any way, shape, or form. It left me with questions at the end. But those are all the books that I read in this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this reading vlog. I missed doing these so much. Next up, I think I'm gonna do reading my August TBR because this was number 1 on my August TBR, but I have 5 more to go. So I might do a video of that next. So stay tuned for that. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.